Anorado me bawa sarva siddhi me pray sarva krama sudha me zedan shreya kuru ha Bhagavan sarva dada gada bhadrama me munza baranze bhav mahasamaya sadho Om Bhadra Sadhva Samaya Manupalaya Bhadra Sadhva Denupa Deda Dejo Membawa Soto Kayo Membawa Subo Kayo Membawa Anorado Membawa Sarva Siddhi Mepraya Sarva Karama Sutta Me Zedan Shreya Kuru Ha Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Bhadrama Me Munza Baranze Bhav Mahasamaya Sattva Om Bhadra Sadhva Samaya Manupalaya Bhadra Sadhva Denupa Deda Dejo Membawa Soto Kayo Membawa Subo Kayo Membawa Anorado Membawa Sarva Siddhi Mepraya Sarva Karama Sudha Me Zedan Shreya Kuru Ha Bhagavan Sarva Dada Gada Bhadrama Me Mun Baranze Bhava Mahasamaya Sadho. Thank you. We'll continue. So I haven't read this last. This is the first chapter dealing with the primary cause from the JOL Ornament of Liberation, the wish fulfilling gem of the noble teachings. Now next, part 2, the working basis. As a working basis, the precious human life is excellent. So that's chapter. Because during these 2 months, there's 8 weeks total. And in the 8 weeks, we have 3 days each in the week, so which makes the 24 days to go through this text. So at least we try to go 1 chapter a day, Now chapter 2, precious human life. So this also, see, it is all the important points without much elaborated way. All sentient beings have Buddha nature, as described before in the first chapter. That being the case, because of that, do all beings, sentient beings, in the 5 realms. These 5 realms, sometimes we say 6 realms. Here it says 5 realms. That means the hungry spirit is divided into 2. The lower one belongs to the animal realm. The higher one belongs to the God realm. So that's why it becomes 5. So such as hell beings, sentient beings in the hell realm. Hungry ghosts is mentioned here. We used to have that hungry ghost all the time, but maybe it's good to say hungry spirit. Maybe it's a better the word if you say hungry spirit instead of hungry ghost. It's kind of there's a spirit also who are hungry, and so forth. So then, like a animal and a human being, the God realms, everyone's, since everyone has the Buddha nature, so can they achieve Buddhahood, And so hungry spirit and so forth have the capacity to work towards enlightenment? That's the question. So the answer says no. Not everyone has the opportunity to become Buddha or to achieve Buddhahood. Only a precious human life, not necessarily also all human beings, those which is called precious human life, which has two qualities of leisure and endowments. There's two qualities. One is leisure, and the second one is endowment. Then with that, and a mind which holds or which has the three faiths, three confidences, three faiths, that has a good basis to work towards enlightenment. So these five qualities, anybody who has that then has a good opportunity to achieve enlightenment. The summary, leisure and endowment. 2, in the faith, is that the trust, longing, and clarity. There's 3. 2 of the body and 3 of the mind. These 5 comprise the excellent working basis that makes the excellent condition to study, practice Dharma, to achieve complete enlightenment. Now first there is leisure. So leisure means beings free from the 8 unfavorable conditions. When one is free from the 8 unfavorable conditions, so that individual has the leisure, a time, study, practice Dharma. These 8 unfavorable conditions are mentioned in the Sutra of the Sublime Dharma of Clear Recollection. So the beings, the hell realm, hungry ghost, animal, a hell, hungry ghost, animal, barbarian, or sometimes called borderland, and long life God, and then those individuals who are holding wrong views, and the absence of a Buddha, and then mood. These are the 8 unfavorable conditions. So first, recognize what are the 8 unfavorable conditions. So in what way are these conditions unfavorable? Why they are in an unfavorable condition? In hell realms, beings had the nature of constant suffering. Suffering is so much, so there's no space in the mind to meditate, to contemplate the Dharma teachings. Like when you are depressed strongly in your mind, if you try to meditate, you cannot, because the depression takes away your meditation. Try to visualize, it's just intellectual, because depression is so real and your practice is so artificial. So look at this. So Dharma practitioners should have a very clear mind. Constant suffering. Hungry spirits, gods, are tortured by mental burning, means like this stinginess, burning, lack of food, lack of drink, and the mind is burning by the fire of this. So there's no place to meditate, practice. Then animals are mostly overpowered by stupidity. This is it. Very wonderful, Most are saying. Not every, There's some very smart. Maybe sometimes smarter than human beings. But most are the overpowered by the stupid. Like you're a cat, you're a dog. You tell, so this is virtue, practice. This is non-virtue, don't practice. They have no idea what you're talking about. Tell them you're in the samsara. Maybe you want to make effort to achieve enlightenment. And they will look at you, get some food. So that's called stupid. So now, all three of these have no modesty. See, awareness of right or wrong, and no concern for what others think. And also they have no concern what others will think about them. For them, for oneself, or if I do this, it will not good for me. They have not that kind of concern. If I do this, maybe what other will think about. So none of those exist. Their mind stream are because that their mind streams are improper vessels, so they cannot receive Dharma teachings. Therefore, they have no opportunity to practice the Dharma. Again, you see, mostly, so not everyone. No. Now, this is more mythical, The long life gods abide in a non-conceptual state, means they have achieved such a deep meditative observation. So because of that, their mind is so absorbed in that quietness. They cannot hear from outside. Completely blocked their mind by that state of the meditative state. So say state where all mental activities have ceased. So activities are ceased, you see. Means all mental thoughts, understanding of right or wrong, all this just cease into the meditative state. Therefore, they have no opportunity to practice the Dharma. Because they are longer life than human beings. That's why it's called long life, God realm. And all the God realms constitute unfavorable conditions. We can say all the God realms, you can say unfavorable conditions. Reason because all the gods have favorable. All the gods have unfavorable conditions because they are attached to temporary happiness. They are attached to this life's achievement, peace, happiness, fame, so forth. And have no time to make effort for Dharma because they're being so busy for this life's achievement. No time to sit down, read Dharma, study and practice. So look at this, you see, Therefore, the small amount of suffering. So here there's a small suffering that a human experiences has great qualities. That in the human life, we have some suffering. Not too much like in the hell realm or hungry spirits. We have some suffering. So that suffering has a great opportunity. So it has great qualities. Because from it we get a sense of sadness in samsara. You see, from that suffering, there's a lot of suffering in the world. Feeling of little sad, little renunciation. So that's and it falsifies our arrogance. See, we become arrogant when you achieve something. No, I'm successful, this. I'm much better off than the rest of such people. There's some arrogance. But when you reflect his suffering into you, I'm not that great. I also suffer. I'm like the rest. I'm no better than the rest of the world, in the rest of the world, So it releases our arrogance, the pride, the height, So it makes a real human being. So everything there's a significance, you see. It causes us to cultivate compassion. Because of suffering, gives you good opportunity to cultivate compassion. If there's no any suffering, then there's no cause to cultivate compassion. Because compassion, the mind, is give rise in your being that desire to free from the suffering. When there's a suffering, there's no basis to cultivate compassion. See, so when suffering comes into your life, instead of you feeling sad, depressed, so this gives me a lesson. This gives me a lesson. Samsara has no essence. This gives me a lesson, to reduce my arrogance. This gives me a lesson to cultivate compassion. Towards all sentient beings, compassion towards all sentient beings. It causes us to like virtuous deeds and abstain from negative actions. So why suffering is coming from? Suffering is coming from negative thoughts, action. So if I want to free from suffering, I better abstain acting from the non-virtuous thoughts and action. Like say, I have to avoid 10 non-virtues. If I want peace and happiness, I better practice the 10 virtues. See? So look at this, is such a beautiful, Engaging in the conduct of Bodhisattvas, Bodhisattvas says this Bodhisattva Avatara by Shantideva. Furthermore, suffering has good qualities. Through being disheartened, being sad, disheartened with it, arrogance is dispelled. Compassion arises from those in struggling existence. Evil is shunned, negative karma is reduced, and joy is found in virtue. Then when you practice the 10 virtues, you feel joy. So I'm doing right thing. This is the explanation of how the 4 non-human realms have no leisures. Now the 3 lower realms and then the God realm, how they don't have the leisure. No. Even though they have human, even though they are human beings, but then barbarians have difficulty meeting spiritual beings. Those who are born in the borderland, they have difficulty to meet spiritual masters. No. It's not saying they are bad, but they have very little condition, opportunity to meet spiritual masters. No. Those who hold wrong view cannot understand that virtuous deeds are the cause of higher rebirth or liberation. If we don't have clear, incisive awareness, the virtues and non-virtues, so there is no such called virtue or non-virtue. It's called wrong view because they don't understand the mode of abiding, how the causality constitutes, have no awareness on that. That's called wrong view. So have no opportunity. See, even they are human beings. When one is born at the time when the Buddha is absent, then also, of course, when Buddha is not there, there's no Dharma teachings clearly. Then how we can study, practice. Then there is no teacher who can explain what is to be done and what is to be given up. And there's not spiritual teachers say this is the right thing to do, this is the wrong thing to avoid. There's no teacher who can explain those things, how you can practice Dharma. It's very clear. Mood or stupid person cannot understand the teachings or virtue. That's clear, isn't it? Virtue or non-virtues. When one is free from all 8 of these conditions, it's called the excellent leisure. Now you have a time, you have opportunity to study, practice, called excellent leisure. No? So that's how it explains. No? Now, second, endowment. The 10 endowments are divided into two groups. The 5 qualities one must achieve personally, one should have. And the other 5 that come from outside circumstances. The 5 to achieve personally are, should have being human. So you have to be yourself as a human being. 1. Being born in a central country means where there's Dharma teachings, where there's teachers. 2. And having all the senses, your eyes, ears, nose, tongues, to express all the senses. 3. Not reverting to evil deeds means like having committed any of the 5 heinous crime or negative actions. And then last one, having devotion for the teachings. Now one should have the devotion to the teaching. When one has these 5 qualities, one has the endowment, the 5 endowments from within oneself. Now your explanations. What does being human mean? To be the same as the human beings, one should have the organ of the male or female. One should be male or female. Both are eligible to practice Dharma. Central country, that means refer to a place where there is a chance to attend holy person. So holy person, not an unholy person who has understanding of the wisdom, compassion, and have some experience in the practices. because of Dharma is holy, if we practice Dharma, we can become holy. It refers to a place where they say, having all the senses means being free from moodness of stupidity. Who has freely to communication, no? Because Dharma is such a profound. When you go higher and higher, like as Mahamudra type teachings, you have to have such a subtle meditative state, and there is subtle communication. And having a chance to practice the virtuous Dharma, says there. Having devotion for the teachings means having faith that the Vinaya taught by the Buddha is the basis for the Dharma practice. In some texts it's mentioned having faith to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And here it said Vinaya is so precious. Moral conduct is the foundation for our Dharma practice. And the teacher who keeps the moral conduct is precious. The teacher who doesn't keep the moral conduct, if you read in the Complete Guide to Buddhist Path, it's mentioned unclean. It's like a rotten. For lay practitioner, Senior said there are 5 precepts. And then there are novice ordination, full ordination. It's not enough to take the precepts, but it should be kept, those precepts. If you don't keep those precepts, just taking precepts is nothing. It's nothing amazing. There are some people, they take all the precepts, after a few years, then derail from the path. So what's good for that? No, you take, then you keep. No, observe those precepts. First, look at count the number of what kind of precepts are there, step by step. Then count. After counting how many you are keeping and how many you are not keeping, look at that. This is not just to get a title. This is a way to practice Dharma, how to free our mind from the delusion. No? That makes a better person, better human being. You can say a prudent human being. Is that right?
Prudent? Did you say prudent?
A prudent human being.
Prudent.
Yeah. You are getting? See. Like this is like a Dharma practice is like a very there are some you see precision thinking. No, Dharma practice is like a wise business people. you know how to invest, and then how to get gain, achieve from that investment. Not reverting to evil deeds means not committing any heinous crimes, creating any very heavy negative karma. Like killing, for example, killing your parents. everybody in the world, they respect their parents. That should be, regardless different religion, culture. Naturally, there's a strong bond, connection. And under such a kind of condition, with such a strong hatred, if you take your lives to the parents, how that could be, That's called heinous crime, heavy negative karma. It's natural. It's not Buddhist belief. Because look at the consequences of that action. So that prevents to achieve nirvana in one lifetime. That's what is because of that. Crimes in this life, you see. Now, these are the 5 qualities that we should have individually for oneself. Now, the 5 conditions that we should have from others is here. 5 qualities that come from outside circumstances are: a Buddha has appeared in this world. We should be born where the Buddha appeared in this planet, on this planet. And then that much is not enough. A Buddha taught the precious Dharma. Buddha must have taught Dharma teachings. Sometimes Buddha comes without teaching and disappears. In such case, doesn't help. So Buddha must talk the Dharma teachings. The Dharma that was taught continues. The Buddha taught Dharma should be continued. If we say, over 100 years, there was such Dharma was exist, but now it's not exist. If that happens, it doesn't help us. So Dharma should continue. Then, say, Buddha came, Buddha Dharma taught, Dharma continue. There are followers of the Dharma which continues. Then followers of the Dharma, good teacher who explains, who gives you teachings, and Sangha communities. And then last one, there is a love and kind support from others. Then there's support from others to study, practice Dharma teachings. So these 5 conditions that we should get from outside. So this total makes the 10 endowments, 10 conditions, you see. Thus, when one has all 10 qualities, 5 from oneself and 5 from outside, they are called the excellent endowments. All the conditions now you have to study, practice Dharma. When these 2 leisure and endowments, those 2, are present, it's called a precious human life. Now see why it's called precious human life. It's explained so wisely, clearly, precisely, with a few sentences. So why is it called precious? So, see now, it's equal to a precious jewel that grants wishes. Just to get idea, understanding. Jewel, or nowadays if you cherish so much, your computer, or if you cherish so much, your smartphone, if you get everything from the smartphone, human life is like a smartphone or a computer. Look at this, So these are, at that time, the jewels are very precious. The golds are very precious. But now what you see, what is most precious? Look at that and compare. Now he says, the wishes. It is precious because it is difficult to obtain. maybe the computer or the smartphones are not so difficult to obtain. So look at now, so something which is very difficult to find. B is precious because it is of great benefit. It brings such a great benefit. Those two. Next is precious. It's rare, precious. Difficult to obtain, Bodhisattva Basket says, says, it is rare to be human. Generally, if you compare to the animals realm, human beings are much more less. Human beings, no matter how much still you can count, we are called 7 billions, isn't it? Roughly. We cannot count how many ants are there in the world, no? So is compared to that, is human beings more rare. On above that, it is rare to keep the human life. It's very difficult to keep the human life. Some die very young, no? And it's rare to find the holy Dharma teachings with the human life. Then the pure Dharma, the precious Dharma, is difficult to find. It's also rare for Buddha to appear on this planet. Up until now, 2,600 years passed, came only one Buddha, historically. It's so rare. The teachings taught and alive. The White Lotus of Great Compassion, Sutra says, it's difficult to find human birth. It is hard to achieve the excellent freedom. It is also rare for a Buddha to appear on this earth. It's difficult also to find devoted interest in the Dharma. It's difficult also to have perfect aspiration. Here, perfect aspiration means your aspiration to free from samsara and to achieve complete enlightenment. It's very rare. We have some devotions, interest, very temporary. It's mentioned like this, a capricious mind. Mind just comes and goes. No. Bring the bodhicitta in your heart and the pure aspiration and practice Dharma is very rare. See, from the planting this noble stock sutra, it says, it's difficult to find freedom from the 8 unfavorable conditions. It's called. It's difficult to have the leisure. It's difficult to find a human birth. It's difficult to find the perfect leisure. It's difficult also to find the appearance of a Buddha. Appearance means Buddha appear on the planet. It's difficult. It's difficult also to find person with all the senses, which is we have now stated, mentioned, described. It's difficult also to hear the Dharma teachings of a Buddha, real to get the Buddha's teaching. Spirit relate to your mind. As I mentioned, mind is such an ambiguous, abstract, vast, profound. So difficult to find that kind of teachings. How to exercise your mind. We always focus outside. How to correct outside. How to fix the outside. We are not taught how to look inside and develop. So, but it's difficult also to attain the precious holy beings. It's difficult also to find authentic spiritual masters. See, real good teachers are very difficult to find. There are a lot of teachers. So, I'm teacher like this, you find. But real who has sincere mind, who has bodhicitta, sincerely want to promote peace, happiness in the world, in the individual's life. Very difficult to find. Very rare. Who is fully dedicated their participation mind for Dharma. It's very rare. It is difficult also to fully practice that which is taught in the perfect teachings. We also, practitioners, we also don't practice according to the Dharma teaching itself. So I'm interested that we just go to some other our emotional interest and follow that. Doesn't have incisive, empirical wisdom to choose the right. It is difficult also to have a right livelihood. It's difficult also to find person who make effort in the human realm according to the Dharma. So look at this, each and every has a very profound meaning. Carefully look at right livelihoods, not harming others. Just living the life very sincerely. So look at this and how Dharma has such a wisdom without harming. This was called non-violence, peace. So look at each and every sentence, how to create a peace within the mind. Sometimes you find difficult. It's maybe difficult, but look at the reality nature, what it makes sense. Hence, engaging in the conduct of Bodhisattvas says, leisure and endowments are very hard to find. So, and then, what kind of example can there be of how difficult it is to find a precious human life? So, what kind of being has difficult to finding one? Why is it difficult to find? So there are three questions asked. Now look at this, each answer. Give you such a precise, clear picture. No? So this is the first very important to look why it makes precious human life. No? So, and first example, say, an example is mentioned in engaging in the conduct of Bodhisattva, say, Bodhicitta Avatara, that say. For these very reason, Buddha has said that hard as it is for a turtle to insert its neck into a yoke, adrift upon the vast ocean, wandering in the ocean, back and forth, east to the west. It is extremely hard to attain the human state. This example is that, you see. So this was explained by the Buddha in the Sutras. Now Gampopa bringing this Buddha's teaching here. So Buddha said, suppose that this whole earth were an ocean. Just example, supposed to be ocean. And a person threw in a yoke in that ocean that had only one hole. The yoke has only one hole in the center. The yoke would float back and forth in all four directions, east to the west, north to the south, due to the wind blows. Underneath that ocean, there is a blind tortoise who lives for many thousands of years. So these are supposed to be. But who comes up above the surface of the ocean once every 100 years, just a glimpse, and then he goes down. During that time, it would be very difficult for the tortoise head to meet with the yoke's hole. Still, it is possible to be born a precious human life. Is much more difficult. The tortoise head is easier to meet in the yoke's hole than to have a precious human life. And look at the Buddhist history. There are so many great teachers came who are emanation of such. So one of these very vivid example of the like Milarepa, who came in the 11th century. And when they asked, his disciple asked, what kind of reincarnation you are, from Vajradhara or great Bodhisattvas? Milarepa said, no, I'm none of those reincarnation. I may be born from the lower realms. So that, like say, the history is just one, in this whole period of time, that we have one great teacher who study, practice Dharma sincerely, achieve enlightenment. So you look at the very few who attain enlightenment. Most great teachers, he said, this rebirth of such great, Bodhisattva, Buddha like this. So that's why I say we who have this opportunity rejoice, feel happy. Now that is the example. What kind of beings are difficult? The second question for the answer for the second question. What kind of being has difficult to find a precious human life? See, beings who are born in the three lower realms have difficulty being born as a human. See, because he says, so why is precious human life difficult to find? See. So is this right? This body of leisure in endowments is gained through the accumulation of virtuous deeds. And those who are born in the lower realms, lower realms do not know how to accumulate virtue, how to practice 10 virtue. They don't know how to avoid 10 non-virtues because of that, see. So these are the very important. This is what goes Dharma practice. If you are giving 10 virtues, you are practicing Dharma. If you are not giving 10 virtues, you are not practicing Dharma. Even you are chanting mantras, visualizing high deities. See, that's why I say the lower realms, they don't know how to practice, avoid the 10 non-virtues and keep the 10 virtues. That's why they are difficult to be born again as a human, especially precious human life. Accumulate virtue, rather they constantly commit evil deeds. For example, like bird, look at every day how many insects the bird eat. And they have no idea how much negative karma they're creating. Therefore, only those born in the three lower realms with a very small amount of negative karma, and whose karma could ripen another lifetime, not next lifetime, another lifetime, are the ones who have an opportunity to be born in the human life. So look at this. So now you can see how precious human life is, how difficult to obtain it. So these are how difficult to obtain. Now next, how great benefit that we have now having this precious human life. Be of great benefit engaging in the contact of Bodhisattva says, and since they accomplish what is meaningful for man. This man means for all human beings. This human being can accomplish great benefit. In Sanskrit, the man means Purusha, Puruka, Purush, which translates as a capacity. What means Puruka, Purush? It's a capacity, ability, according to the Sanskrit meaning. Hence, a human life with the qualities of leisure and endowment provides the capacity or the ability to attain either the temporary higher realms, like next life, to born as again precious human life. We have every opportunity, and ability, and also capacity to do that. And also say now, higher realms, or definite goodness means to free from samsara. Definite good is always good. When you are free from samsara, it's definite you are in a good place. In the samsara, no matter how you achieve higher, it's not definite. You may go down anytime. So definite goodness. Therefore, it is called Purusha. The meaning of the Purusha, Purush. Furthermore, there are three different types of ability. Now, if you go through details about the ability, capacity, there are three different types. Inferior, mediocre, and superior. As it says in the lamp for the path to enlightenment, Adisha's special text. So one should understand that there are three different types of person: inferior, mediocre, and superior. And inferior, what it says, inferior person has the ability to attain the human or God realm without falling into lower realms next life. So this life, we have every opportunity to gain again precious human life, or to be born in the God realm. No, not to be born in the lower realms. The Lord, it is said, this Adisha said, one who makes effort by any means to achieve the pleasure of samsara for his own benefit, this is called inferior person. So still is inferior, Look at the 10 virtues, 10 non-virtues. So 10 non-virtues are the cause to born in the lower realms. 10 virtues, the cause to achieve higher realms. Even you don't have interest to free from samsara, you have every opportunity, ability, to have that inferior achievement. A mediocre person has the ability to attain the state of peace and happiness by freeing himself or herself from samsara. Like as earlier mentioned, Charavakas, Patik Buddha. It is said in that audacious text, one who turns his or her back on the pleasures of samsara, no attachment to the samsaric pleasure, happiness, joy, because they are so temporary, transitory nature. So turn from that. And then abstain from the non-virtuous deeds. Have a pure motivation to achieve self-liberation and free from the 10 non-virtues. Practice the 10 virtues, or the absorption, meditation. But who is interested only in his or her own peace. This is called the mediocre person. A superior person has the ability to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. Mahayana practitioner. Bodhisattva's path. It is said in the audacious text, by seeing the suffering within one's own mind stream. Look at all suffering of the sentient beings and look at to yourself. How much I want to free from this all suffering. Every sentient being has the same desire. And then expand the thought. Extend your attitude to all sentient beings. See? And one yearns to completely exhaust the suffering of others, you see. Not just your own, but others as well. This is called the supreme person, a great person, subject to respect, subject to take refuge. Such a precious, a source of peace, source of wisdom, source of all the excellent qualities. Furthermore, Acharya Chandra Gomin said, how great are its beneficial effects, this precious human life, how much it has benefit, power, ability. So by obtaining this precious human life, see, one can become free from the ocean of rebirth, free from samsara. Not to reborn into samsara. To give you opportunity by this human precious life. And also sow the seed of supreme enlightenment, means cultivate bodhicitta. You can cultivate bodhicitta in this human life. So such a precious, This very human life has greater qualities than the wish-granting jewel, you see. Wish-fulfilling jewel. Human life has more ability, a power to give us, to fulfill our wishes than the wish-granting jewel. Because wish-granting jewel, no matter how powerful it is, it can give us to fulfill our wishes in the samsara. But the human life can give us opportunity to free from samsara. Says there are some human beings so famous because of the human life. There are some are so rich because of the human life. Animals, they cannot become so famous. They cannot become so rich. Maybe nowadays there are some dogs who's working as a policeman, security. But still, human beings far more. So in the Dharma practice, more than that, to free from samsara. This is the precious human life can give us that. See? So, how could one not gain its fruit? How one can waste this? The path through which human can gain great strength of the mind. So, because the precious human life, it has such a capacity to expand the maximum of the mind, reveal the total nature of the mind. It's because of the precious human life. So that kind of cannot be obtained by gods or nagas. There are some different names. Not by demigods, garudas. These are special different entities, and Vidyadharas. This is not Vidyadharas, the Vajrayana practitioners, It's kind of like a Holy Spirit wall. Kinaras and Urakas. So there's, in Sanskrit, there's a lot of different names. As the names are mentioned, different in the different realms and the different hungry ghosts, like those. So none of those powerful can achieve that which human life can achieve. So therefore, just look into ourselves, appreciate, rejoice. I did something good in my life. Now I'm here. Now I must use this precious human life. I can't waste. If I waste this precious human life, it's like a jewel in your hand, throw it in the mud. So this human life, which possesses leisure endowments, has the capacity to avoid all the non-virtues and to accomplish all the virtues. It has the ability to cross the ocean of samsara. See, it's the ability to proceed on the path of enlightenment. So it has that kind of great opportunity. Therefore, it is far superior to gods, nagas, and so forth. It is far superior to the wish-fulfilling jewels. Therefore, since this human life which possesses leisure endowment is difficult to find and has great beneficial effects, it is called precious. See now? It's mentioned in the few sentences how it brings the meaning so precise, so clear. The point, you see. Now next is cause here, see. Even though it is difficult to find and it has great beneficial effects, it's very easy to lose. Now, there's a danger to lose. There is no one who can prolong life. Nobody can prolong your life. When time comes to die, even Buddha is in front of you. Cannot say anything. Even Buddha Amitayu is in front of you. Say some prayers. That much, So no one can prolong the life. There are many causes of death. There are more causes of death than to live. And each moment passes in an instant. You're just passing through instant. Those causes to live our life also become a cause of death. We eat food to live. Sometimes the food goes in the wrong place and we die. Clothes we wear to keep our life, sometimes we are wrapped in the cloth and die. House we built to live life, sometimes house is burn and people die. So it passes in an instant. Engaging in the contact of the Bodhisattva says in the Bodhisattva, it is inappropriate to enjoy myself, thinking that today I alone shall not die. No. It is selfish. I enjoy today because I will not die. It is not good reason. It's attachment. No. For inevitably, the time will come when I shall become nothing. Even we live 100 years, still time will come. Even we live 1,000 years, this time will come for nothing. So at that time, look at now. What it's saying is, we die joyfully, peacefully. Even if they're not, without regret. So I didn't make a mess in my life. So there's nothing to regret. If possible, die joyfully, happily. Because at that time, nobody can help. Even your best friend, best family, who may sacrifice for you, but the time comes that they cannot help. They can only cry. That much they can do. They will say, please don't die. We need you. But they cannot do anything. That time, one individual, one has to have your own confidence. So that can achieve through Dharma practice. So this shows, it's not just saying bad things, no, but how to prepare. Because, we have choice. Frustration or fulfillment. Either we want to die with the frustration or we die with the fulfillment. This is making the choice, you see. Therefore, contemplate how difficult this precious human life is to obtain, how it is easy to lose, and how great its beneficial effects. So look at these each choices. Contemplate, see. Read each line. Just meditate yourself. Understand. Beneficial effects are, say, think of this body, so because of that now, so how to utilize this precious human life. It's giving such a good example. So think of this body as a boat, and therefore make as much effort as possible to cross the ocean of samsara. If you have a boat or ship, then we use to cross the ocean, isn't it? Or to cross the river, to go to the other side. So in the Bodhisattva Avatara mentioned, engaging in the contact of the Bodhisattva's way, says, relying upon the boat of a human body, free yourself from the great river of pain, suffering of samsara. We are taking under the current of the river of the suffering. So cross the river. As it is hard to find this boat again, so this precious human life is hard to gain again. No? This is no time for sleep, you fool. So we have no time to go sleep. It means there's no time to be lazy and attached to the samsara. Samsaric achievement. So be smart, say, Now another example, think of this body as a horse. Here is a boat, you can use as also as an aeroplane. You fly from country to country, continent to continent. Now fly from the continent of the samsara, go beyond other side of the nirvana. Now you have horse. That time there's horse, no cars or train. Now you can use also a car or buses or train. So think of this body as horse and use it to ride free from the precipice of samsaric suffering. It is said, riding on the horse of the pure human body is a beautiful metaphor, Escape the dangerous precipice of suffering in samsara. So where you want to stay in the samsara, every side you go, there's no place true peace and happiness. There's a suffering, there's a suffering, there's a suffering. In a country you go, you don't find the place where there's a perfect peace and happiness. Even you go to the holiest place, any religion, there's a problem, there's a suffering. So we have to free from samsara, achieve enlightenment by practicing dharma. Or think of this body as a servant and let it work on the virtue. Here is a servant, or you can say employee. That time, the servant, they give food, and they ask them work. Nowadays, employee, you pay them and ask to work for you, like this, see. So think of this body as a servant and let it work on virtue. See, thus it is said, this body of all humans is a subject to be a servant of virtue. It means we should utilize this precious human life to collect virtue. It's because our interest, the interest of the sentient beings, because to free from suffering, to have peace and happiness, that's the logic, that's the reason.